Welcome back to Sports Medicine on Tap. My name is Brandon O'Lyon. We are sitting here at the NATA AT Expo in Philadelphia with my good friends Dr. Frey and Dr. Bertha. And our special guest for this episode is Katie Scott, the Director of Membership from the NATA. Katie, thank you for coming on and welcome.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here today.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. Clearly, you've been pretty active. I'm actually losing my voice a little bit now, too. It's contagious.
I am. It's been great, though. There's so many people here that just want to connect and network, and it's hard to I like talking.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
It's been a busy event.
You're
Yeah.
in the right place then.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah, we were asking you a little bit before, and we'll circle you right back to it then. How has the event gone so far?
Yeah, I think the event's gone great. You know, this year came with some pretty unique challenges for us. When we booked this place, I'd say 8-10 years ago,
Mind-blowing.
just it's amazing how much has changed from them, right? Like we had no idea that FIFA was coming to Philadelphia while we were going to be here.
Yeah.
We had no idea that the Pope was going to be American.
Right.
We knew it was the 250th celebration of America, but you know,
Which is
things
cool,
things
but-
were a little different back then.
Yeah.
And so you have all these things culminating into one place while we're here, and it's created some challenges that have been unforeseen, but the people who have been able to make it here, the energy here is just so palpable, and it's really kind of brought back to life some things that I feel like have been missing for a little bit. And
Yeah.
listen, it's a new day at NATA, you guys. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that or not, but it's just been really exciting to be part of it.
For sure.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, the amount of people that have been here is really phenomenal. The amount of vendors in the expo is just, it's a really great setup. I'm sure there's a lot of background work that goes into getting this whole thing set up.
It's
Tons.
huge. Yeah.
Tons. You guys, I'm not kidding when I tell you that our team that runs this expo floor is already talking about next year a month ago.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're out here today just telling them what's been planned a month ago for next year
Right.
already.
Right.
And it's just so cool to be part of the back end and just watch this magical process.
Yeah.
And then to see it all come to the accumulation here.
Yeah.
It's
It
just, it's one of the greatest things.
That's what it's like. It's an event in and of itself. It's like a circus. You see like all this stuff that's going on. And it's incredible what they can kind of pack into each little booth and each little setup. Like it's cool. It's a fun thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think as an NATA member myself, and I've been to the last couple conventions, it's different now on this side of it, being an exhibitor, if you will, here doing the podcast and all this different thing. It was a cool experience getting here early, setting things up, and then watching as the floodgates literally opened at like 9 a.m. sharp. That everyone came in, and like I think you mentioned it before, the energy is like palpable. It's a fun feel. I guess again, if I'm not someone walking in the doors to check out the expo, I'm part of it now. So it's a very cool experience from my end. And I think it's a kudos to your team and everything that you guys have put together, and it's been great.
Well, thank you. But I'm telling you right now, we could not do it without people like you investing in membership. So thank you for being a member.
So let's go down that road. Tell us a little bit about membership, what that means, what that entails, what that gets you, some of the benefits.
Yeah, absolutely. So just like with any other professional organization or medical organization, you have professional associations. And those professional associations provide value to you as an individual, but then they also provide value to your profession as an organization.
Right.
And what's unique about NATA is that we are the only professional association for athletic training as a whole.
Right.
One of the things that we do that I think makes us very unique is that I think we have the only and quite frankly the best advocacy team. We have an in-house lobbyist for our federal legislative needs.
Yes.
But we also have a team of incredible experts who provide that lobbying and legislative support and coaching to all of our state associations, who really do all the boots on the ground effort when it comes to things like practice acts, state license updates,
Right.
regulation, and most importantly, deregulation protection.
Right.
Right.
I think it's interesting you say this is the Association for Athletic Training. Both Steve and I are in the orthopedic realm, and all those groups are all fragmented out. And so
Right.
sports, joints, I mean, they all have their own individual ones. There's a whole one, but in fact, the AOS has been less popular in the big meetings. So it's really
Right.
cool that you guys have such a big meeting that everyone from the entire
Central
nation comes to see.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like we're not the only association for athletic training. There's lots of other smaller associations. They're a little bit more setting or workplace specific, or
Yeah.
they represent different entities that are more towards education. But The thing is, NATA came first, and the one thing that NATA does, I think that's just the best. And again, I'm biased. I'm the director of membership, but
Right.
we bring everybody together. So no matter what workplace you're coming from, no matter what your employer type is, the type of patient population you represent, or maybe you don't do clinical work at all. Maybe you're in administration or higher education.
Right.
This is a home for you, and we have a home for you. I don't think we've always been like really great at that. I think we've kind of lost our way in the storytelling of how we've done that. But like I said earlier on the podcast, it's a new day at NATA.
Yeah. So delve into that a little bit.
Yeah. So we knew very early on a few years ago that the environment is starting to change. That's the thing about what happened with COVID is associations had to very, very quickly adapt and overcome and change because the needs of their membership evolved and changed.
Right.
So that was the first challenge. And I think we did a fairly good job of evolving and going with the needs of change because over 90% of athletic trainers got furloughed because sports canceled, right?
Yeah.
Then you insert the insertion of AI technology into the space, and all of a sudden, like, the whole world as we know it has evolved.
Yeah.
I would say that as an association, NATA is just starting to come to the forefront of, okay, listen, we've been around now for 75, 76 years. How do we have to evolve to meet the member where they're at?
Right.
It is no longer going to work for us to just sit back in our seats and wait for members to come to us.
Right.
It was working that way in the beginning because people really, really needed to come together just to be recognized by anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
We've done a really great job of being recognized now. And so now it's on our shoulders to kind of meet the member where they're at and explain to them, here's your pain point specifically, and here's how we're customizing our experience and our value and meeting you with where you're at, no matter your workplace, your career phase, your interests, and here's how we're meeting you and bringing you value to do that.
Right.
The associations that have been really successful in being able to create that customized pathway and experience to membership, they are winning.
Yeah.
And NATA is now doing the work, and we're starting to get that data, and we're starting to have those conversations to figure out how do we make that work here.
Right.
And it's just been really, really fun to witness and see things come out. I mean, you can already kind of see it in the way that we've set this up. We've got AT Central in the middle of the AT Expo, which is sort of like our association hub.
Yeah.
It's in the conversations we're having and the education. It's in the way that we're going to be transforming the convention experience. I could go on and on and on and on, but I'm not going to. Just trust me when I say it is a new day at NATA.
All right.
Now, what kind of benefits do we see from being a member of the NATA? What are some of the specifics that the members benefit from?
So in short, because there's a ton of them, the first and foremost that applies to everybody, like I said, is that advocacy, protection, and advancement of practice.
Yeah.
So the investment that you make in your membership dues is essentially the fuel that we use to help drive those efforts and initiatives towards both federal and state regulatory and legislative protection and advancement.
And I'll be honest, there are a lot of overlap. There is a lot of overlap between, like, we're both part of AOSSM, the American Orthopedic Society for Sports Medicine, and like a lot of those same issues, out-of-state issues, license issues, traveling with your team, like tons of different things that would not normally be on the forefront of what the average person would think about. I think face like both entities.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And those are things that hopefully the average member doesn't have to think about.
Right.
Because the reality is that when they're thinking about them is usually in a time of crisis. And a great example I give is our crisis that we recently overcame with the H2F program. So for those who are listening that are familiar with that, what took place is that there was a change in administration, there was a change in leadership somewhere, and somebody who checks boxes and makes decisions didn't have all the education and data in front of them on the value that athletic training brings to the armed forces.
Right.
And so there was a decision made, I think it was last year, it might have even been 2 years ago at this point now, time is fleeting, where they've decided that they were going to cut almost 300 jobs of athletic trainers from the H2F program entirely.
Right.
Now we have a professional threat.
Yeah.
So here comes 15,000 athletic trainers and our incredible government affairs staff.
Yeah.
We're going balls to the walls, and we're now advocating and explaining not only the importance of who an athletic trainer is and their educational background and what they're qualified to do, but why it is an incredible mistake to make that decision. They got it overturned.
Yeah.
And not only did they overturn it, but now they're doubling down and they're hiring like another 400 athletic trainers.
Right.
That is advocacy at work, and I hate that it takes a crisis for people to realize that, but that is what happens.
Right.
Yeah.
There's so much more to that, though, than membership. So that's the foundational piece. That's the piece that even if you're sitting here and struggling with, like, I don't know what NATA does for me, that does that for everybody. But it
Right.
takes fuel to make it work, and it takes fuel to advance that.
Sure.
Then we've got our practice resources,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So what we have a ton of workplace committees, we have a ton of career phase committees. They're constantly looking at what are the needs and the pay points of our specific audience, and let's create resources and toolkits and products that can go in their pocket that they can use every day
Right.
to either make their livelihood easier, put more time back in their day, be more efficient or better at that work, or frankly put more money in their pocket. That's like been a very big focus for us this
Sure.
last year.
Yeah.
Either through the salary survey, which is coming out in our July-August issue, or like our member perks program, trying to help people purchase everyday things, save money or put more money in the back in their pocket, or advocate for higher salaries.
Yeah.
Right.
That is the long story short
Yes.
of what
Yeah, yeah.
NATA does for you, but I could go on and on.
But the advocacy, I think, is a big deal, because I think many groups in medicine, just as a whole, don't advocate for themselves well. I think
No.
we tend to find that we're busy with other things, and it gets lost in the shuffle, and we get put beside, and then we're all angry about all these things, but we don't do anything about it.
Absolutely. And athletic training is not only different, but I feel like we have an extra special challenge, because the thing that I love most about this profession and the people that are part of it, I'm also an athletic trainer, is that we care for others ahead sometimes of even our own selves.
Yeah.
Right.
And so when you're constantly in this position, I mean, you know that, Brandon.
Oh, yeah.
When you're constantly putting people in front of your own needs, sometimes you lose yourself in the process.
Right.
But then this idea of I have to come first and it's all about me and I have to sit here and talk about myself, it's just such an unnatural thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to flip that switch, make that transition. And I do. I think that across the board, and I don't, maybe because of the advocacy, to be honest with you, like I don't think it's as dramatic as it previously once was, but for a while, I feel like it's been an underappreciated field. I don't know that the general public always realizes the amount of training, the amount of education, everything that goes into becoming an athletic trainer, and just how valuable athletic trainers are across the board. And it actually makes a bigger challenge for you guys, right? Like, because you have to advocate on so many different fronts.
Yeah.
Because athletic trainers are so valuable in so many different areas.
Yeah.
Like across the board. So yeah.
Exactly. And no, we've not hit 100% capacity or share of everybody knows what an athletic trainer is, right?
Right.
Like I would say that we're probably still not as nationally recognized as, say, physicians and nurses and things. I just talked to an early professional today. His school staff confused him for a school nurse. There's nothing wrong with school nurses.
Yeah.
I love school nurses. I think I went and saw my school nurse in high school almost every day to try to get out of gym class. But I know. But the reality is that there's still work to do
Right.
on people
100%.
understanding not only what an athletic trainer is, but the strategic advantage to having an athletic trainer
Sure.
because of that continuity of care that
Yeah.
AT brings.
Yeah.
We are full spectrum from the very beginning of injury prevention all the way to the most catastrophic, life-threatening, I got to save your life or you're going to die.
Yeah.
That medical spectrum, we are in the full continuity of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what really makes us unique.
Now, kind of building off of that, I know it's different in different areas, and I actually don't know where this stands currently, but I know where I was previously in Colorado, some of the athletic trainers could come into the OR and do that. Is that something that's becoming nationwide? I guess my point being is, can you kind of expand on what are all the roles that athletic trainers play in the community?
This could take a while.
I could, but we're going to be here all day. It truly varies state to state.
Yeah.
So it really depends on the state to state, and every state has their own practice act for the most part. There's a few states that we're still working that out, but we've made really great progress. But I would say it really just comes down to what the needs of the patient population is from state to state, how athletic trainers have been able to build relationships and advocate for their skill set within it,
Yeah.
and then what comes out. The needs of the patient populations we serve in Montana are very, very different than the needs and the patient populations of those in Florida.
Yeah.
And what you're starting to see is this really cool, I keep saying customized, but just this really cool cultural difference and yet similarities across the states in the way that athletic trainers are evolved and wrapped within the fabric of healthcare of those states.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's fascinating because athletic trainers in particular, I mean, you kind of mentioned this. I think the general public doesn't really totally understand in a lot of scenarios, where all are you going to find an athletic trainer? So it's great to hear, kind of some of that.
Yeah,
It's,
I like to think of us as like the MacGyvers of medicine.
Right. Very much. Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
much.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Like, if there's an issue and you need it resolved, chances are an athletic trainer is going to figure out how to do it. It may not be the prettiest.
Yeah.
It may not be the most expensive. It may not be the fanciest, but man, it's going to work.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And a big advantage in terms of the more traditional route for athletic training is, we talk about this on the podcast multiple different times, is the kind of the everyday interaction that you have with the patient / the athletes, right? Like that you're working with. And you know, Nick and I get to see, you know, our athletes when they have their injuries once every 2 weeks, once every 4 weeks, and you get little snapshots here and there, but it's very different when you're interacting with that person every single day.
It is. And that interaction with the student athletes and the athletes, I think, and your patients is really what makes the athletic trainer's position, I know as serving as an athletic trainer, my favorite part about my job.
Right.
And that's the cool part about association management is, you know, while I'm not technically clinically practicing anymore on patients,
Right.
My patients' population has changed. It's no longer the student athlete. Now it's the athletic trainer.
Yeah.
My job every day is to look at the needs of the athletic trainers and figure out how I can use my skill set to make their lives easier. I just got out of an early professionals town hall here, which I just loved attending so much.
Yeah.
And it was so invigorating and inspiring to hear the youngest of our profession. These are certified athletic trainers in their first 6 years of certification. And I asked them, what is your favorite part of your job? Like, what motivates you? Because this job is not easy. There are hills and valleys of this profession every day.
It's very demanding, more so than I think the average person.
Extremely demanding. But I asked them, what is it that keeps you going, that motivates you to stay with this job and stick with it? And they all said they're athletes. They wake up every day because if they're not going to do it for themselves, and sometimes they struggle with doing it for themselves, they're going to do it for them.
Yeah.
I was ready to bust through walls for these guys by the end of this town hall. It was great. But I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that holds value too of getting the younger population involved earlier and more often, right? Like, because, they don't realize it now, but they're the next generation of the leaders that are going to be for this profession and doing it. They're going to take our seats in whatever we're doing in whatever role, and they're going to have to drive it forward. Like, there's a generation of the older athletic trainers who have all the green coats that walk around, you know, like they're going to phase out and go about their life as well. And then this younger generation has to pick up the slack and keep it going.
Nearly 40% of our membership is made up of people under the age of 40.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
And how do those folks that are young and want to get involved, how do they best get involved with the NATA?
Well, the first thing I would encourage them to do, because the reality is our younger professionals definitely deal a little bit more with lower entry salaries, right? So cost and price is a big thing. And so if anyone's ever asking, like, Katie, what's the best way for me to get involved, like, right now? I always tell them, start with your state and district leadership. Start there because it's local, it's regional. The chances are they probably have a lot of shorter term opportunities to serve.
Right.
And a lot of times time and money are two of like the tightest things in your first 6 to 12 years of certification. We have a ton of things that you can do at NATA as well. We've got our early professionals committee, we've got our career advancing professionals, our student leadership committee. You can sign up to work the convention proposal reviewer task force. I mean, we have a ton of stuff, both short-term and longer-term investments. Sometimes it's just say yes.
Yeah.
Like, just say yes. Or pick up the phone and call me or email me and go, hey, I want to get involved. Can you help me find a place? Trust me, we are in no shortage of opportunities to jump up and get involved.
Right.
But sometimes it's just saying yes. Sometimes it's just about building relationships with your peers and your other ATs, because you just never know what someone else might know or might have an opportunity. So I always just tell them when they ask, you know, don't be afraid to step up, to say yes, and to meet a new friend and to meet someone new. It can be overwhelming at times, but I've never regretted doing that in my career.
Sure. Yeah. The in the middle there, the NATA.
The AT Central.
The AT Central.
Yeah.
So I'm walking by and I'm like, what is going on here? And I see the headshots and there's like a long line of everybody like, it's great. The
Listen, that AT Central, I look at that, I get so proud with a huge smile on my face. That has been a dream child of mine and our events team for 5-6 years now. I remember I was walking through this expo and I was like, man, I'd go to other events. Like, we're going to AOSSM next week in Seattle.
Yeah.
We'll go to my association management meetings. And they all had this like center space where you could go and you could chill out and you could get a headshot.
Right.
You could get coffee.
Right.
And you could go meet your peers and you could chat with the association staff to find out the latest and the greatest or ask questions or just get loved on and get free stuff.
Not wrong
And
with that.
right.
Yeah,
And I was like,
sometimes it's
man,
nice.
I'm like, we got to come up with a central place where our members can do the same thing and they can see the faces of NATA, because I was guilty of this as a young professional. When I heard about NATA, I was like, man, they must be this castle on a high hill, like this entity.
Sure.
They're
Right.
not. It's like people, not the first thing I thought about.
Yeah.
And I really want people to think of NATA. I want them to think of it as like people.
Right.
We are the NATA. Athletic trainers are the NATA. Yes, there's a full-time staff and I am on it. But they're people too. And so my hope is like that has been amazing watching that grow. We launched it last year. It was awesome. I'm super excited about it this year.
Yeah.
I hope it just continues to get bigger and we do activities like we're doing today that just brings a ton of people to this expo floor
Right.
and injects some energy in it.
Yeah.
It's my opportunity to hand out a ton of freebies and just love on our members
Right.
and our athletic trainers that came here
Yeah.
and invested to be here. And maybe next year we'll have coffee. That's like a big dream of mine.
The dream.
I
Yeah,
think athletic trainers do tend to like coffee a little bit.
coffee and other beverages.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if the other
That's the next
beverages will
step.
come from maybe, but
It is in
maybe
New
coffee. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I was going to say, we're still trying to get beer here for the sports medicine on tap. Yeah.
Good luck.
Right.
No, it sounds like you guys have done a great job making everything much more accessible for everyone. It's not, like you said, it's not this entity that's not accessible. Like it's there for people to be at. So speaking of being at meetings, where can we find the meeting next year?
Yeah. So we're going to be in NOLA next year. We're going back to New Orleans. I know that's definitely a attendee favorite.
Oh, yeah.
From there, I believe we go back to Vegas.
Nice.
So shout out to our West Coast members. They've been waiting for us to go back, and
Another
we're going to go
attendee
back.
favorite.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if I'm allowed to announce the next one.
Oh, too far.
Ooh.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you what. I am going to find out if I can, and then I'll let you guys know. You can add it in afterwards.
Sounds good. All right. I appreciate that.
Well, thank you.
Well, Katie, I just want to thank you for your time. I think everything's been great. Before we wrap up, anything else that you want to get out there to any new, old, current-looking members or anything along those lines?
Yeah, it's just, we kind of talked about it before, and I'm going to say it till I'm blue in the face and I've lost my voice, which is coming really close. It is a new day at NATA.
Yeah.
And, there's been a lot of frustrations. We're only at about a 48% market share, which means there's about 52% of people who have decided not to come. There's never been a better time to come home. There's
Right.
never been a better time to come to this association. People can feel it. They can see it. We're going to do our part to try and help people who are still on the fence find that thing that they're looking for, so it makes it a no-brainer decision. But if you're ever on the fence, just give me a call, email me, and I hope you come back.
And there's strength in numbers, and all ships rise with the tide, right? Like you start doing good things, and
My
everybody
favorite
benefits.
saying.
Yes, for sure.
Well, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. It was great talking to you and meeting you. And thank you for the opportunity for helping us get out here as well. And we look forward to working together in the future and promoting the NATA as best we can.
Absolutely. I appreciate the time on today's episode. It was nice to meet you guys. Next time we should do beer.
Yes.
We should absolutely do beer. I'm down.
Usually we do. All right.
Excellent.
No, we appreciate you having us. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. We want to thank our sponsors who make this show possible. First, a quick word from Virtual Health. Runner's knee and dog walker's hip, they have a doc for that. Yard work back and laptop wrist, they have a doc for that too. Virtual Orthopedics and Spine has over 120 providers, over 20 PT and rehab facilities, and more than 25 surgical centers all across South Jersey. So find the right specialist for you at virtual.org/ortho. Next up are a shout out to our friends over at Protected. If you've been listening for a while, you know we love Protected for getting elite athletes back in the game safely. For athletic trainers, this is an ultimate tool belt upgrade, a full suite of customized bracing products ordered via a quick 30-second 3D scan on an iPhone app. They are the go-to solution for custom face masks used across the NBA, WNBA, and Elite Soccer, AC joint pads that don't restrict range of motions, and hand and wrist splints that keep players totally functional. So go check out their 3D printed products in person and visit www.protect3d.io to learn more. We also want to give a massive thank you to our official NATA Row sponsor. NATA Radio Row is officially sponsored by Pivot Performance Turf. If you stop by our mobile studio layout on the expo floor, that incredible turf setup we were broadcasting on was all thanks to them. They kept our studio set up looking clean and professional all week long. And finally, today's episode is brought to you by Timbero Productions and our good friend Kyle, getting all this media out to all of our listeners. So thank you and enjoy the show.